You know, the crypto world just keeps throwing curveballs, doesn't it? And lately, the big noise is around meme coins, specifically Fartcoin.
Yeah, Fartcoin.
It's had this huge surge, and you, our listener, sent over a bunch of really interesting sources, articles, data, wanting to get a handle on what exactly is happening.
Absolutely. And it's a great mix. We've got Crypto.news, FX Street, The Cryptonomist, CoinMarketCap, looking at, price action, predictions.
Real-time stuff.
Exactly. But then we also have Congress.gov, the FTC, Swisher, Investopedia, CryptoEQ, giving us the bigger picture, risks, regulations, what meme coins even are.
Right. So our mission here is pretty clear. Sift through all this, pull out the crucial bits, and help you understand this whole Fartcoin thing. The potential, sure, but also, importantly, the context of this wild meme coin market.
Let's cut through the hype and get to the substance.
Okay, let's dive in. Fartcoin. You got to admit, the name gets a reaction, but its performance lately, that's been serious business for some folks.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the first thing that jumps out from Crypto.news is just how fast and how high it's climbed recently. It broke past $1 for the first time since January.
Okay.
And maybe more strikingly, it's up something like 460% from its low point this year.
Wow, 460%. Yeah, that really grabs your attention.
It really does. Shows you the kind of, extreme moves possible here.
And it seems like it's not just riding a general wave either. Crypto.news pointed out it's actually done better than some other big Solana meme names, like Dog with Hat, Bonk.
Even the official Trump coin, which is saying something in that very crowded space.
It really is. So what are the charts saying? Is there analysis suggesting this could keep going?
Well, yeah, the Crypto.news piece talks about some technical analysis. They mention a pattern called a cup and handle.
Okay, cup and handle. Sounds like breakfast.
Yeah, a bit. But basically, chart analysts see it as a sign that after a period of settling down, the price might be ready for another upward push. So based on that pattern, they're suggesting it could potentially climb another, say, 55%. That would put the target near $1.75, $1.76.
$1.75, okay.
And if it breaks past that level, the longer-term thinking is maybe a return towards its all-time high, which was $2.73.
So technicals are looking somewhat positive, potentially. But what about just general market buzz? The Cryptonomist seemed even more bullish.
Yeah, they're throwing out a much bigger number, suggesting Fartcoin might even reach $5 maybe as soon as May.
$5, wow.
But, that's if we see a really big surge in meme coins generally, that meme coin mania they talk about, or like a broader altcoin season where lots of smaller coins take off.
Right, relies on the whole market catching fire.
Exactly. And they do point out Fartcoin has hit $2.61 before, so these explosive moves aren't completely unprecedented for this specific coin, but still $5 is a big leap.
Okay, let's ground ourselves. Where is it right now, as we're looking at this April 23rd, 2025?
Right now, it's trading around $1.15, maybe $1.16.
And CoinMarketCap puts it at rank number 64, with a market cap over $1 billion.
Yep, over $1 billion. And both Crypto.news and FX Street mention pretty significant 24-hour trading volume, lots of activity.
$1 billion and lots of trading for a coin named Fartcoin. Okay.
It's the world we live in. What's also kind of interesting, from Crypto.news again, is the supply dynamics.
What do you mean?
Well, the amount of Fartcoin available to trade on exchanges is apparently going down.
Oh, so people are pulling it off exchanges.
It suggests that, more investors might be moving it to their own wallets, maybe planning to hold on to it longer term instead of trading it actively.
Interesting. Holding, not selling.
Right. And they contrast that with coins like Bonk or Dog with Hat, where there's apparently more supply sitting on exchanges. So lower exchange supply for Fartcoin could indicate stronger holding sentiment.
That's a fascinating signal. But crypto being crypto, there's always a flip side, right? Crypto.news also mentions something called the wick-off theory.
Ah, yes. Important counterpoint. The wick-off theory looks at market cycles. Basically, it suggests that after a big price run-up, the markup phase...
Which is what Fartcoin seems to be in.
Exactly. After that, you often get a distribution phase where the early, bigger players might start selling off, and that can lead to a markdown phase, a price decline.
So the party might not last forever. What goes up
can definitely come down. It's a really important reminder that these upward trends aren't guaranteed to continue, and a correction could happen.
Got it. Enjoy the ride, but know where the brakes are, maybe. Now, FX Street. Their analysis seemed to lean more towards the positive short-term outlook, too.
It did, yeah. They noted that Fartcoin seems to be holding strong above that $1 support level.
Okay, a floor.
Kind of, yeah. And they looked at the RSI, the Relative Strength Index. That's a momentum indicator.
Right.
And it also suggested continued bullish momentum, potentially aiming for that $1.50 set target we mentioned earlier. So multiple sources seeing near-term positive signs, technically speaking.
Okay, so Fartcoin's journey is pretty remarkable, but we can't really understand it without looking at the bigger ecosystem it lives in, meme coins.
Yeah.
For anyone listening who's maybe not deep in the crypto space, what exactly is a meme coin?
Good question. At their core, they're basically digital tokens inspired by internet jokes, memes, social media trends, that kind of thing.
So not necessarily based on groundbreaking tech.
Not usually, no. As Switcher and Investopedia put it, they're really designed to grab attention, build an online community, often around humor, and hopefully drive up the price through that social buzz and speculation. They often don't have much underlying utility beyond that.
It's like internet culture becoming an asset class almost. And Switcher mentioned just how many of these pop up.
It's kind of mind-boggling. They estimate thousands, potentially thousands, can be created every day.
Thousands a day.
Wow. And they give examples like Pengu, Pizzacoin, Fliffy Inu, coins that hit pretty high market caps really quickly after launching. And Fartcoin itself, remember, hit $1 billion market cap in under a week previously.
It's just so fast. The barrier to creating them must be pretty low then.
Very low.
Okay.
Which is why we see so many.
And the big appeal, obviously, is that potential for massive returns from a tiny investment, right?
Oh.
That community aspect, Switcher mentioned, plays into that.
Absolutely. The community is everything for a meme coin. It's driven by shared jokes, hype on social media, this collective belief that number go up.
Right.
And because they often start at incredibly low prices, even a small investment can turn into a huge amount if the coin takes off. We hear those stories, and that fuels more people jumping in, hoping for the same thing.
But, and this feels like a big but,
yeah,
with all that hype and speed, there've got to be massive risks. Investopedia, the FTC, they sound pretty concerned.
Extremely concerned, and rightly so. The risks are huge. You've got insane price swings, extreme volatility. There's often no real fundamental value to anchor the price long term.
Okay.
They're incredibly vulnerable to pump and dump schemes, inflating the price, then crashing it by selling. Outright scams like rug pulls where the creators just vanish with everyone's money.
Rug pulls, yeah, I've heard that term.
And just general market manipulation because maybe a few people hold a huge amount of the coins.
And the FTC's general warnings about crypto scams seem like they apply double here.
Exactly. The FTC warns about things like promises of guaranteed high returns, big red flag, demands to pay for things only in crypto, scams pretending to be legit investments, or even impersonating companies or government agencies. All of that is rampant in the less regulated corners of crypto, and meme coins are often ground zero.
Be super careful, basically.
Super careful. Anything that looks too good to be true.
Probably is. And Switcher had that really stark statistic from Binance.
Yeah, that was sobering. Citing Binance, they reported that something like over 97% of all meme coins eventually lose their entire value.
97%. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That puts the success stories in perspective.
It really does. While the winners get the headlines, the vast majority just fizzle out. And Switcher also points out that even when meme coins do well, like we saw some outperform Bitcoin in early 2024, it's often just driven by pure hype or maybe anticipation of things like looser regulations, not because they suddenly developed real value.
Got it. Hype cycles. Now, bringing it back to Fartcoin specifically, it's a Solana meme coin. Does being on the Solana blockchain matter?
It can, yeah. Solana is generally known for having lower transaction fees and being faster than, say, Ethereum historically.
Okay, cheaper and quicker.
Right. And as Switcher, Crypto.news, the cryptonomist all kind of touch on, that speed and low cost can be really attractive for meme coins because people trade them a lot very quickly, trying to catch those rapid price swings. Lower fees make that more feasible.
Makes sense. And Solana seems to be a hotbed for these kinds of coins lately. The cryptonomist mentioned another one, Solaxi.
Yeah, Solana's definitely become a major platform for meme coin launches and trading. The success of pre-sales like Solaxi, which the cryptonomist highlighted, just shows the current buzz around Solana-based meme projects. So Fartcoin is riding that wave too.
Okay. Now with all this money flying around, billions in market cap, crazy trading, what's the deal with regulation? It still feels very open territory.
That's a fair assessment. As Congress.gov outlines, the U.S. regulatory picture for crypto is still very much under construction. It's not comprehensive yet.
Still figuring it out.
Pretty much. Agencies like the SEC and the CFTC are definitely paying more attention. The SEC has its crypto task force. The CFTC is bringing enforcement actions. They're involved.
And the exchanges where you trade these things, they have rules to follow.
They do. Congress.gov notes they're usually treated as money services businesses, MSBs. That means they have responsibilities for things like anti-money laundering, AML, and know your customer, KYC checks.
I'm trying to prevent illegal activity on the platforms.
Right. But regulating the coins themselves, especially meme coins with no clear issuer, is trickier.
And it sounds like Congress is still debating the best way forward.
Yeah.
Balancing innovation and risk.
Exactly. There are ongoing discussions, proposed bills, working groups looking at digital assets, stable coins. The rules are likely to keep changing, which adds another layer of uncertainty for crypto, including meme coins.
And the FTC had a really practical warning, too, just about how crypto transactions work.
Yes, that's crucial. They point out that while transactions are on the public blockchain, you don't get the same protections as, say, a credit card chargeback.
Ah, right.
Crypto transactions are typically irreversible. Once you send it, it's gone. No takebacks.
That's huge, especially if you're dealing with something super speculative or potentially scammy, like some meme coins. Make a mistake or get scammed.
And that money is likely gone for good. It really raises the stakes.
Definitely. So, okay, this leads to the unavoidable question. If someone is even thinking about getting involved here, what kind of homework, what due diligence is absolutely critical?
First and foremost, risk assessment. As Switcher and Investopedia hammer home, you absolutely should not invest money you can't afford to lose completely.
Treat it like speculation money, not savings.
Precisely. This isn't your retirement fund. It's high risk, high speculation.
And Switcher gave some specific things to check.
Yeah, some practical tips, like always double check you have the official contract address for the coin so you don't buy a fake.
Good point.
Check if the supply is fully out there or if devs can mint more. Can they freeze your coins? Who are the developers? Are they anonymous? That's often a red flag.
Right.
Look at the community. Is it real engagement or just bots hyping it? And crucially, check if a few wallets hold a massive percentage of the coins. That could mean they can easily manipulate the price or dump on everyone else.
Lots to check. And Investopedia had that pretty blunt comparison.
Yeah, they basically said treat meme coins more like casino chips than regulated investments.
Casino chips. Wow.
It frames it correctly, I think. It's more like gambling, maybe entertainment for some, than a sound investment strategy based on fundamentals. Extreme caution is needed.
Okay. Wow. This has been quite the journey through Fartcoin and the meme coin universe. Let's try and pull the main threads together.
Sounds good. So we've definitely seen Fartcoin has had this incredible price surge. Technical analysis, market sentiment, they suggest maybe there's potential for more short-term upside.
Right. The potential is there based on some indicators.
But, and it's a huge but, it operates in this incredibly volatile, extremely risky meme coin market. That context is absolutely key.
Yeah, you can't ignore the environment. The speculative frenzy, the potential for scams, rug pulls, manipulation, all that stuff the FTC and others warn about is very, very real here.
And that 97% failure rate statistic from Binance via Switcher really sticks with you. The chance of long-term success for most meme coins is tiny.
So while the stories of quick riches are tempting,
the reality, as Investopedia and Switcher stress, is that the risk of significant loss is just as high, if not higher, and the rules of the game, the regulations, are still being written.
Okay. So as we finish up, maybe a final thought for you, our listener, to chew on. We've got this mix: viral hype, online communities, the dream of fast money, all tangled up with huge risks and regulatory question marks.
So what does this whole Fartcoin phenomenon and the wider meme coin trend actually tell us about where crypto is right now and how people are behaving in this market?
Is it like a sign the market is maturing in weird ways, embracing community coins? Or is it more about social media trends and pure speculation overwhelming any sense of, long-term value or fundamental worth in the digital asset world?
Yeah, hype versus substance. Where does the balance lie? It's definitely something worth thinking about.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for diving into this with us.